I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of Choice session today. Today's session, we're going to talk about how you can use Cloze on a daily basis. So I'm going to dive in. I'm going to do a mix of slides and demo. I'm going to demo on my phone. I'm going to demo on my computer. I'm going to start off here with a bit of a recap. If you attended our last session or session from last week, we covered how to get started. So we covered how to organize your contacts. If you missed that session, I'm going to do a little mini recap here. Make sure you're on top of everything, and then hit some key settings at the beginning, and then we'll dive into the daily use type session. Okay, but feel free to ask questions. My colleagues are here in EXP World, and they're on YouTube, so ask your questions there, and they'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So a little bit of a recap here. I'm going to go through some terminology, show you how to organize. We always talk about clients in terms of their journey inside of Cloze. So think of a person that starts off as a lead, they're warm, and you're trying to get them all the way through a closed transaction. So that's what we talk about. We're talking about a client journey. We also have tags. Tags are a great way to organize outside that journey. So somebody on your holiday list, or maybe you're trying to find clients that all have similar traits, things like that. Use tags for that. And then we'll want to talk through other types of relationships you might want to organize over time. We'll get into the more of the nitty gritty in a few moments. Some optional settings that you might want to look at, I'll cover those as well. You can sync contacts from Cloze back to Microsoft 365, your Outlook account. You can also sync it back to Google Contacts. That can be very helpful. And then I highly recommend connecting your SkySlope account to Cloze. Benefit of that is not only do you get all that historical data, but all the contacts on your side also come into Cloze, and they're organized for you automatically. We'll set a purchase or sale anniversary too, which is relevant to today's discussion because we're going to remind you automatically about those dates so you can stay engaged with them. And then Zenlist, also a great solution for you. Connect your Zenlist account. I'll show you how to do that. You're going to do that in Zenlist. You'll see it in their integration section. The nice thing about that is that you can see all of your browsing activity with your clients in there, and you'll see leads come in from there. So it's a really great solution. Especially if you don't use a website, I really love the Zenlist solution. Okay, so I'm going to dive into a demo and give you a little bit of a recap here. I'm going to go back and forth between a few accounts. But let's start off with that getting started account that we looked at before. Okay. So if you remember in the previous class, we talked about organizing. We've got what you're going to see on your agenda is a getting started section. This is going to pop up for you. If you follow this, you're going to be in really good shape. So if you remember what we've covered so far, we've given you an intro, given you a full demo of what Cloze is all about. The last class was about organizing your contacts, so organizing your core sphere. So you've been following along through here, and then the goal is to get you down to step 5, and that's what today's class is. It's all about getting to use Cloze on a daily basis. Cloze gives you a daily agenda. Think of it as your action plan for the day. You can work through that and then move on with your day. And that's the end goal. We don't want you spending tons of time in Cloze. We want you out there with your clients, building strong relationships, Cloze working alongside, letting all that AI and automation help you and assist you as you go. So at the top here, recap, highly recommend a few things. Import your phone contacts. So if you've got a lot of contacts on your phone, it's always good to get them into your CRM, get them into Cloze. You can do that right from your phone. We've got instructions in our help center on how to do that. And we covered that last time, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but do that. I do highly recommend it because it gets a lot of really good information in there. Another one to highlight here is import a file. If you're moving from another CRM, we will help you migrate all of your contacts from your other CRM into Cloze. Or if you've got a spreadsheet that you've had for many years, you can import that into Cloze. If you select, let us import the file for you, you can simply tap on this paperclip or drag the file in here and send it to us. Our support team will help you get it imported. You can add some notes to us on what you'd like to see done. Tell us a little bit about the file so we know what to do or give you advice on how it should be imported. But we'll make sure that gets done for you. You can also just email support@cloze.com if you'd like, and send us your files that way too. We're there 7 days a week, and we're more than happy to help you migrate those contacts. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at a person. So if you remember from the other class, we organized several contacts. I'm going to pick Harold here, do a little bit of a review. So on the right side, this is the relationship section. Think of this as is the place to track where the person is on the journey with you and who they are to you. So the journey is warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. So a lead comes in, they're warm. You haven't qualified them yet. They're going to advance to hot as you qualify them. Think of that as transacting in the next 60 to 90 days. And then they're going to go to in contract, and then they're done. They're closed. Okay, so that's the journey. Under segment, you see who they are to you. Are they buying? Are they selling? Maybe they're buying and selling with you. We've got very popular ABCD segments here. These are used typically with ninja selling or Buffini, but a good way to track kind of the core of your sphere. Somebody who recommends you all the time would be an A. Someone who will also recommend you, but not quite as much as an A, it'd be a B. Your broader network is a C, that kind of thing. And then other segments you can take advantage of. If you go way down, you'll see family and friends and that kind of thing. So use those to set who the person is. So if we set Harold here as a buyer, I know he's looking to buy a property. And if I set him to warm, I know he's on my warm list. So you've probably heard that in some coaching: warm list, hot list, who's on your warm list, who's on your hot list. So now Harold's on my warm list. And then tracking through here, we also offer next steps. Think of next steps as all the concrete things you need to do to advance somebody to the next stage. So what do I need to do to advance somebody, Harold here, from warm to hot? So you can see I've got some steps here. I'm going to follow up, then I've got my first call. I've got a buyer profile in Cloze. I'm going to fill all that out so I know what he's looking for. I'm going to create a buyer packet and get that over to him. And then I'm going to actually interview him, sit down and talk to him about what he's really looking for in a home. So that's my process for moving him from warm to hot. How do I get him to sign an agreement and let me represent him in buying a home? As I continue to hot, you can see I've got other ones. I'm going to start sending property matches. Zenlist, again, is great for that. Send over other things that might be helpful. So you can push those over. You can adjust those steps. You can advance them along as you want. It's very simple. So right now he's set to follow up. If I select intro call, it'll check off the previous one and just move down the list. You can work sequentially. Okay. Steps are 100% optional though. You don't have to use them. Some people really love steps because they stay very organized, and other people, they kind of know what's going on. They don't need to do that. So it's really up to you. If you like the extra structure, you can use them. If you don't have to. But I do recommend organizing your core sphere using stages and segments. If you want to customize, you can do so. So I just went into settings. I'll do that again, do that kind of quickly. Tap on more, tap on settings. You can then scroll down to the customization section, and you're going to see people and companies. If you click on people and companies and expand it, you're going to see all the segments. So here's buyers and sellers, etc. The ones I just looked at. Harold, he's a buyer, so there's buyer. If I click on the gear, I can then make adjustments. So if I wanted to adjust those steps, I can do so right here. Optional. You can remove them all if you wish to do so. You're going to see some core ones there when you first get going. You click on that, you can delete it if you wish to do so. You can also just rename them, change the name, click on the gear and rename them. You can set reminders as well, and even add templates. So there's a lot you can do with steps. It's a great way to kind of build in your workflow area to explore over time. You can add a step if you wish to do so. Click on add and put them in there. At this point, I'd probably focus more on just getting the top level organization done and then come back to the steps. We do have some different modes if you want to get a little fancier. Process mode, you work sequentially like I was just doing. Task list, you can jump around. So if you wanted to do one thing and then jump to something else in your list, you can do that. Or mixed allows you to set milestones and then have tasks underneath it. So I'd say mixed is more if you're really organized, project oriented, you'd use mixed. Process is pretty typical, but it's completely up to you. And again, these are optional, but just want to make sure you're aware of them. You can also add your own segments. There's quite a few in the core setup, but if you'd like to add segments, you can. When you do so, we're going to give you a couple of options. New segment with stages. So just like Harold here has warm, hot in contract, or without stages. You're going to not use stages when something is either yes or no. So an advocate, they're either an advocate or not. There's no warming them up to become an advocate. Same thing with a family member, right? They're only a family member. You don't have a warm family member, right? You're not trying to prospect against them. So that's what that is for. Okay. And you can, of course, go down a little further and add personal segments too. Okay, so that's just a quick overview on those settings on how to create them. We have another class completely dedicated to this that goes into more detail, but I did want to make sure I recap that. Now, as you go down the profile here, what you're going to see is several things that you can expand. First one is contact information. So any contact information you have, you'll see that there. If you want to edit a profile up here, upper left, you'll see right next to the name, edit. If I click on edit, I can then make changes. I can add, so I can edit the name, things like that, whatever I'd like, add pictures. If I click on contact info, I can add other information like postal address, social media, content, websites, those kind of things can all be added. When you're done, just click on save. So that's how you edit. Along the top, you can dial somebody up, send them an email. If I click on the envelope, you'll see it allows me to send an email. More options, you'll see several things here as well. Okay. Now going down the right side, you can see these sections can be expanded. So if I expand at a glance, these are simple notes I can add. So I could put hobbies, I could put family members, pet names, whatever I want to keep track of, I can put in there. But the idea is at a glance, what do I need to know about Harold? Buyer profile, I can enter in what he's looking for in a home. Details, I can link other people. So link the spouse, children. So partner, spouse, you can link them here. Children, same thing if you'd like to do so. If you get a referral, I do recommend putting in the referral. So if I wanted to link whoever referred the person, I can just search for their name and add them. Important dates, these are also great to add. So birthday, wedding anniversary, purchase anniversary, real estate review, these are all standard ones. Sale anniversary would be in there too. So add those as you can. If you connect your SkySlope account, we will automatically set the purchase and sale anniversary date. Okay. All right, last thing here, and then we're going to jump into the main presentation. Tags are a great way to organize outside of the journey you see here. If I click on tags right here, it's very simple. I can just start typing a tag name. So I know I've got a tag called VIP. I can just select it. So now he's VIP. If I start typing, say I want to just have a tag that says sphere, you can see it's gray. It means I've never used it before. So I can create it right from here. I can just collect it and click on it. And now I've created that new tag. Any other tag I've previously created, I'll see it lit up. You can see I've used it twice. There's number 2 over there. There you go. Very simple. So add tags makes it easy to find people. I'll show you how to do a little search there in a moment. Okay. Now, if we go back, if you remember, we have different views of the people information. If I click up here, you can see I'm in a table view, and then I've got columns. If I switch to Kanban board view, you can see I can see my warm list, my hot list, and contract. This can be very helpful. I can also drag people from over here into any of these. So now Holly is on my warm list. So you can do things like that. It's really up to you, personal preference. I think table is very useful on the desktop. Easy. You can dial, text, email right from here. You can get a bird's eye view. And then you can customize the columns too. So pick any of the other columns you'd like, and you can add them. And then you can even scroll to the right to see them all. The funnel, this is what you use to filter your view. Lots of options here. You can do quick filters. So I want to see just my warm list or just my hot list. Do things like that. Filter by just a segment. So who are all my buyers? These are all good, quick filters that I can take advantage of. If you want to clear, just click on the trash can. More advanced filters are all down here. You can search by tag. So if you want to search for the holiday card tag, these are all the people that have the holiday card tag. So easy way to filter. Again, click on the trash can. If you want to do more advanced stuff, you'll see it down here. You can also search by name, all kinds of things up here. Lots of different ways to search and Cloze. Lots of details in our help center. One tip though, if you want to look for tags, just put a hashtag symbol in there, and then you can type and find all the people on that. So if I keep typing, there we go. And then all those people again. Okay. So very simple, easy to do. Now, if I go over to a different account here, I'm going to switch demo accounts. This account has got a lot more information in it. If I was to do the same thing for that holiday card tag, see a lot more people. And then the point of organizing is that you can then select everybody, and then you can do things, right? Click on the check mark. I can send a mail merge, so email all 100 people. I could export it into a spreadsheet or even create Avery labels. So there's a lot of things you can do once you've started to organize your contacts. So that's why we like to see the organization, because it gives you a nice foundation. Now, you probably see me do this a few times, but I'll give you a quick tour. So if I wanted to reach out to all 100 people here, you can click mail merge. Each person will get their own copy of this email when I push send. So you can see how it's flipping through these names: Georgina, Julia, Monica. Each person will get their own copy. It's not a BCC. They're not going to see each other on the to line. If I look outside of Cloze in my sent folder, I'll see 100 emails all go out individually. So it's a really good way to reach out to a lot of people at once with one push of the send button. Take advantage of our AI. You can click on the light bulb here, and then I'm going to write something up, say, wish a client happy summer. And then you can say start writing. There's a bunch of options here you can pick. I'm just going to select authentic. And then it just wrote a nice little email for me here. And I'm done. Very simple. So an easy way to use that generative AI built into Cloze to reach out at scale, check in with your clients, stay close to your sphere. And then when you send it out, you can just click on send and it will send 100 emails out all sequentially. But you can also do other things here. So you could schedule it to be sent out in the future if you wanted to go out tomorrow morning or something like that. You can do that. You can also add recipients. So one tip here is, remember I just showed you how to add a spouse. So if I add the spouse to the to line, now the spouse will be included. So it will say 2 people. You'll see there it says Ted and Elaine just went by. I'll show you an example here. You can even customize by person. So let's look at this. I've got Elizabeth and Philip. So it says, hi, Elizabeth and Philip. So they're going to get it together, which is also a nice touch. So reach out to everybody. You can even include the spouse if you've got them linked up. It's a good way to do it. A simple way to engage a lot of people. Think of this for holidays. I will tell you, these kind of emails far outperform the glossy marketing style email. So just wishing somebody, when Labor Day comes up here in a month or so, say happy Labor Day that way, you'll get far more people interacting with you because they think you just typed it out to them. If they get an email that clearly looks like a bulk mail that was sent mass mail, then they know it was sent to a lot of people and they probably won't engage with it. But if you simple text, much better engagement. And we see that all the time. We've measured it. It's actually 200 times more effective. It's a massive difference than the bulk email that a lot of people automate and send. And you can see it only took me a second to do that. Okay, let's take a quick look at settings and then we'll jump into the main presentation here. Click on settings. I'm going to go back in and remember the connected account section. If you click on that, this is where you can add other things. So I can see all the things I have connected. So you can see I've got a lot of things connected, including SkySlope, including ZenList. If I click on add, this is where I can add other email accounts. So if I've got another Google account I want to connect, I know many people are easing in as they go to start understanding Cloze. So connect your main accounts, the accounts that you use for your business. If you work as a team, we have a shared email account you can connect to. So use that for any accounts that you share across team members. And then you can connect your phone, all kinds of different things. If you go to real estate, you'll see SkySlope. And if you click on SkySlope, it'll bring you over and you can authenticate, connect SkySlope to Cloze. So I highly recommend connecting SkySlope. Lots of details in our help center on that one too, if you need it, but just go over there and you can search for it. The nice thing about the SkySlope integration is it's going to bring in all that historical data and new information going forward. So I do recommend connecting that one. Now ZenList, you see I do have connected here at the bottom, but that one you connect over in Zenlist. So I'm going to walk you through that. So here's a screenshot of what Zenlist looks like. If you click on the account page, you see your picture in the lower left corner. Click on that. That goes to your account page, and then select integrations. When you select that, you'll see a list of all the things that they've got integrations for, and you'll see Cloze right there. Select Cloze, and then you'll authenticate. You'll authorize the connection. Just click on that approve button, and you're all set. Very simple. Once that's connected, all of your activity in Zenlist are going to sync into Cloze and be in the timeline automatically. So if they chat with you, they like something, they say they want to see a property, all that information will come into Cloze. So it's a really, really helpful integration. So that's kind of core to what we do with Cloze. We like to see lots of different products integrated to take advantage of those integrations because they make life easier, help you get all the information about your sphere in one place. So you can see all your calls you're making with your cell phone alongside of your Zenlist activity. Okay, so today we're going to dive into how you can get into a routine using the Cloze Agenda. The Cloze Agenda is that daily routine we build for you automatically. It's a to-do list that you can work through. One of the challenges with traditional CRM is that you have to go look for a lot of things. All the automation in Cloze, the artificial intelligence in Cloze is boiling up all those people and giving it to you in one place so you don't have to create it yourself. So it's like having an assistant say, okay, what do I need to do today? Great, I've done that all for you. Just take care of it. So I like to start off with Shirley here. So she's been on Cloze for many, many years now, but her original work, when she first started saying, she was like, she tried a lot of CRM, she went out and she kept coming back to Cloze. And one of the reasons she kept coming back to Cloze is because we had a lot of artificial intelligence in Cloze that was surfacing her clients for her automatically. And this goes way back to 2019. Artificial intelligence, I know, has been in the news and very much in our in the public eye over the last couple of years, but AI has been around for a very long time. We've been using it for a decade for relationship management. And so when it comes to AI, there's lots of different forms of it. And I just showed you a simple example of generative AI creating content, but you can also use it for your relationships. So what Cloze is doing is analyzing all your communications, finding the people that matter to you, and then surfacing them for you automatically. And that's what Shirley's talking about here. So her point is, it's easy to get super busy. She outperforms. She does an amazing job up in Toronto. And it's very easy to just get caught in the moment and miss a client. Cloze will surface people if you get out of pattern. So keep an eye on that agenda and it will make a difference. Julia, we talked about in a previous class. I love her story because she was highly skeptical. She didn't really believe it would work. And so my advice is take her advice is that it will work. Stay on that agenda. You'll stay in flow with your clients. You stay close to your sphere. You're going to get repeat clients and referrals. So you can think of Cloze as that extra set of eyes scanning all of your database all the time and making sure that the right people are in front of you. When I talk to top performing agents, they have a routine. So think of Cloze in terms of that routine. If you've ever done a coaching class, they'll say they really want you to have a regimented kind of beginning of the day, and then you get the rest of the day to do whatever you need to do. So Cloze is structured in that way. It's going to surface people you get back in touch with. You're going to see birthdays there, all kinds of anniversaries. You can do all kinds of things and then get on. But what I'm talking about here is 20 to 30 minutes. We've organized it all for you so you can take action. You can make a phone call. You can send an email. Whatever you need to do right there. Then remember that Cloze is completely available on iPhone or Android, so you can download from the stores. If you haven't done that, just search for Cloze with a Z in either store, and then you can sign in the same way you signed in on your computer, and all the same information is there, all the same functionality is there. So use it to take notes, things like that. Makes life a lot easier. When you're back in the office, maybe you're back in your computer, everything you did on your phone is synced back to the computer. It's all synced in the cloud. So it's all there for you. Follow up on leads, whatever you have to do. And then at the end of the day, I do like a end of day wrap up kind of routine. How do I set myself up for the next day? Look ahead. You're going to see the meetings you have coming up so you can reconfirm them, things like that. All those things are helpful just to make sure, or maybe you took a couple of calls in the car and you want to clean up your notes or take notes, whatever it might be. All those kind of things are helpful, but they're all organized for you right on that agenda. So think of it as your action plan for the day. Instead of having to write out a to-do list or have somebody else do that for you, go through all your contacts and try to surface people you need to call and birthdays you need to check in on and all the things you might have to do. Cloze is just doing that for you. Start on that agenda. My other piece of advice is try to avoid your own email inbox right out of the gate. I know that's hard, really hard. I'd probably say also stay out of social media. I've had plenty of coaches say that too. You lose 2 hours scrolling endlessly. So the reason I say this is because think of this as your time. It's not a lot of time. This is 20 minutes, 30 minutes of your day, but it's designed for your business, not somebody else pushing their agenda on you. This is all about what you need to get done to keep your core sphere strong. We're going to surface emails on the agenda too. So if you have a contract to sign or an important lead or things like that, they're going to be on the agenda anyway. Cloze will surface things that are really important from people that are really important, but the bulk of your email is still in your inbox. You can get to that eventually, but I really like you focusing in on the Cloze agenda as your starting point instead of email or instead of social media. So it's going to have a lot of different things. It's going to change every single day. You're going to see all kinds of reminders at different times, but sometimes there won't be a birthday, right? Sometimes there won't be an important email that our AI surface. Depends on what's happening that day. So you're going to see a mix of different things. We've designed it to make it very easy to take action. Swipe to call, swipe to email. I like to start on my phone in the morning because if I want to make calls, I can just do it right from my phone, right? Simple swipe, and you're dialing out through your mobile number, your AT&T number. You go the other direction to the left, that's when you can clear items, you can mark things done, all the activities to kind of finish up. So mark something done, easy to do, just went by. Okay, so swipe right to take action, swipe left to finish up. Those are kind of the general themes. I'm going to demo on my phone, so you'll get to see that in action. I know starting with any system can feel like a lot. And so one of the things I want to emphasize here is that if you just do the keep in touch reminders, this one part here, and don't do anything else I tell you, you will get a lot of benefit out of Cloze. I know it sounds crazy, but the idea here is and we've done the analysis, we've done all kinds of work in this space. If you stay in flow with your most important people, your core sphere, that yields referrals and repeat clients, and that creates a lot of business for you. So there's a lot more you can do in Cloze, but if you start chipping away at this routine, you'll get a ton of benefit out of what we do. So remember back to the first class, we have a lot of artificial intelligences running against your communications. So your email is far back in time, your calls and texts and all that communication history, we're working as far back as we can go to surface people. When you get out of touch, we're going to nudge you by putting them on the Cloze agenda, and then you can reach out. So instead of having to go look for people to reach out to, and that's why I love Spencer's quote here, because his point was my old CRM, I had to keep organizing and flipping and setting reminders for myself and doing a lot of manual work. He doesn't have to think about it now. He just goes into Cloze and dials everybody who's there. So that's the takeaway, is instead of having to really think through and set manual reminders, just let the AI help you. Here's how it works. It's analyzing the last time you had a call, you had a text. So it's analyzing all that information, very precisely keeping track of that. So it knows, did you have a call? Did you have a text? When it was. And then it's going to remind you based on the patterns it discovers. So it's either going to surface a pattern where you call somebody every 28 days, and that might be your normal pattern. If you get beyond that, we're going to remind you. Or you can say, I want to be reminded every week or every 21 days or whatever you want, every quarter, about this type of person. And generally think of that as where they are in their journey with you. So you can fine tune it. And if you don't talk to somebody, we're going to remind you automatically. The key thing to know, though, is we're not going to remind you if you're already talking to them. So if I'm talking to Gina every single day, in this example here, Cloze isn't going to remind me to get back in touch with her because I'm already talking to her. A lot of CRMs I know just keep reminding you and then you start tuning them out. That's not what we're doing. There's really two types of these reminders that you'll see go by. There's kind of a core keep in touch based on a pattern, very specific kind of near-term pattern of how you're communicating. And then we have what we call a blast from the past. The blast from the past, the cool thing about that is it's going to traverse your data all the way back in time and look for people that you once knew really well, and then that relationship is faded. Those tend to be clients in real estate because you work with them very intensively for 2, 3, 6 months, however long it took, right, to buy or sell. And you feel like you're talking to the client almost every day, right? So you have a very tight relationship during that time, but then the transaction ends. And unless we continue to stay in flow, and that's really my advice here, you want to stay in flow, but if you don't, Cloze is going to find those people too. And so we tend to get a lot of stories from people like, I don't know how you figured that out, but man, that was a good client of mine that I somehow got out of touch with. And so we know all the statistics that come out of NAR that everybody says they'll use you again, but then they end up not using you again because you get out of touch. And so the whole point here is making sure that doesn't happen. And that's what the AI is very good at. That's why I love Jay's stuff here, because he's very frank about the fact that there's this, guilt if you're not following up with your sphere. And so he took our classes, and in fact, now he teaches classes at his brokerage. And what's pertinent to this conversation is that he organized that core sphere. He's got a couple hundred contacts in there, and he just stays in flow with them. He doesn't have to do anything else. So nobody's falling through the cracks, which was his guilt and his fear because he knew it was happening. He just logs in and he calls everybody on his agenda, sends them texts, sends them emails, just stays connected. And that does it for his business. He gets referrals all the time. He gets clients coming back to them. There's nobody going off and drifting to another agent. Because there's a lot of agents out there, right? The ratio of agents to people buying and selling is very, very high. So here's how you use the keep in touch reminder. So first position, if you're again swiping to the right, first position is snooze. So if you want to take care of it later in the day or another day, you can just snooze. Go a little further, send them an email. Go a little further, you can call them up. If you go the other direction, you can skip. And so you can skip the current cycle. So if you had a weekly reminder, you could skip this week and then we'd get them on the next week. You go a little further, you can mute them. Mute's actually important because you might see some people in there that our AI picks up that you're working with right now, like another agent that you haven't explicitly said, I want reminders for, but Cloze knows you're working with them really closely, so it's going to remind you. At some point, you may say, I don't need any reminders about that agent. I'm going to mute him. Could be somebody from the past you don't care about. That's fine too. So you will occasionally mute those kind of people. AI is great for understanding patterns, but it's not going to necessarily know who the person is to you. So it's going to use AI to do this. It's going to analyze all that communication history, and then it's going to weight based on what it discovers for your pattern. It's also going to weight based on any settings you have set up in Cloze. And so that's a key part here. Remember how we just reviewed the stage and segment? We have warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. Those are the stages. And then below that, in this example, seller is the segment. Each combination can have its own reminder schedule. So my warm sellers, I could be reminded every week. My hot sellers every 3 days. Or warm could be every 3 weeks, and hot sellers every week, and in contract could be every 3 days. Whatever makes sense for me. A lot of people, when they're closed, are doing every 90 days, right? You don't need to talk to a closed client. So you can adjust these settings in the same place we were just looking at a few moments ago when we were looking at customizing steps or adding segments. It's the exact same area. When you click on the gear, you might have seen me scroll by this before. This is where you can use the sliders to adjust the keep in touch reminder schedule. So think of this as like a backstop. If a week goes by and I haven't talked to a hot buyer, Cloze is going to nudge me and put it on the agenda. It's going to remind me automatically. If I'm continuously talking to that hot buyer, I'm not going to get a reminder. So in this example, you can see I got warm, hot, in contract. So it's 3 weeks for warm, and then a week for hot and in contract. And then my closed are every quarter. And then even lost, I have a year. So you can set different schedules for different people. Okay. All right, let's look at my phone here. So here's my phone. And again, here's that action plan. I've got my whole agenda here. Keep in touch reminder. So it's been 3 months since I texted Gina, 42 days for Heidi, 21 days for Skylar, and I got a couple more. So if I'm swiping, you can see those options. So the first one is snooze. If I release on snooze, I can say later today or a different time, that kind of thing. If I go a little further, I can send an email. If I go a little further after that, I can make a phone call. We'll present the numbers along the bottom, and then you can tap to dial the phone number. If I tap on that number, it's going to dial out through my AT&T or T-Mobile or whatever I got. If I release on email, it's going to bring up an email. So this is going to include an email signature that I've set up. You should set yours up. If you need any assistance doing that, reach out to our support team. They're more than happy to help you. Inside this client here that we have, you can do all kinds of different things. So a few things to point out here, but think of it as an email client or an email app, just like you've used Outlook or Gmail on your phone, or the app that came, the mail app that just came with your iPhone. Those are all the same thing. Cloze the exact same thing. When I send this email through Cloze, I'm going to be sending it through my Gmail or my Outlook. I'll see it in the folder outside of Cloze. Okay, no difference. Gina here is not going to know I sent it through Cloze. It's going to look exactly the same. I use Cloze to send and receive email all day long. Now, a few things. Remember that light bulb ghostwriter? If I click on that, I can change this built-in template. So you're going to see this exact built-in template in your account. If I click on the light bulb, I can say, I want to change it to be more authentic. So it just made a quick change, easy to do. And then I'm going to do it again. Say, why don't you give me a new subject? So a long time, no talk, let's catch up, Gina. Great. Easy, personal, took 2 seconds. Great thing about AI. I don't have to think about a different way to say it. So if you're trying to stay in flow, you got a lot of different people. This is a quick way to do it. So we have those built-in templates. And you could, of course, tap on that ghostwriter and write something completely different if you wanted to. Just like I did with the Wish Somebody a Happy Summer, you could do the same thing. Okay, so really easy to do. Upper right, top corner, there's a drop down there, right there. And then you'll see some different options here. I could schedule this to go out tomorrow. So if I wanted to go out tomorrow morning at 10:15, tap on the check mark and do that. I could set a follow-up. So let's follow up next week if she doesn't reply to me. Great. And then when it comes to other features in here, the bell icon right there, where it says tracking, it's probably our most popular email feature. When Gina opens this message or clicks on any link in this message, I'm going to get a notification. Really popular feature, kind of one of those features that's a little addictive because everybody likes to know if people are interacting with their emails. So if you're negotiating that kind of thing with our agent, it can be helpful, but very helpful if you ever used any email marketing tools. They have a similar kind of approach. They'll tell you if somebody opened the email or applying that to your regular email. So your Gmail, your Outlook, whatever you're using, you'll know if they opened it or clicked on any link. So that's a quick little preview of how to send an email. But the idea here is to work through the list. If you want to skip somebody, swipe to the left or go a little further and you can mute them. So if I never want to get a reminder about Heidi, I can just release on mute and it will mute them. Very simple. Anytime you see an arrow, that means there's a template available to you, a built-in template available to you. So you can see, haven't talked in a bit, that's that built-in template. All right, I mentioned settings. So I'm going to flip over. You can see Skylar here has got 21 days. I'm going to flip over to my computer and we'll look at her. So let's go to, oops, down here, Skylar. So here's Skylar. And I can see she's a warm buyer. And if I click on more and then settings, and then scroll down a bit to that people and companies section we were looking at earlier, you can see there's buyer on the right. So she's a buyer. And then here's buyer. If I click on the gear, I can then adjust my keep in touch settings for that segment. So warm buyers are every 3 weeks. She's a warm buyer. And then you can see on the left where it says 21 days. So that's why I haven't talked to her in 21 days. The reminder is set to 3 weeks. That's why you see it on the Cloze Agenda. If I had been talking to Skylar continuously, the reminder would not be there. If I talked to her yesterday, it would get pushed back at another 3 weeks. Okay. If I talk to her today, it'll get pushed out 3 weeks. So you get the idea. So these are just simple sliders. You can adjust them however you like, whatever makes sense to you. In contract is 3 weeks. Clearly a demo account, somebody probably messing with that, but you get the idea. You can adjust these as needed based on your business. Closed buyers generally like some kind of frequency there. So I kind of like quarter or 45 days, something like that. Whatever makes sense to your business. So if I want to do the same thing for sellers, I can click on the gear for sellers and adjust the settings too. Okay. Very simple. My general recommendation though is you got a lead. Don't make it one day. That's a little aggressive. I know we've had people to do that, but you're probably not going to talk to somebody every single day. So it just is a one thing to keep in mind. All right. Okay. Goal tracking. I've talked about this a little bit in some of the other classes, but one of the things we do for you is that we will automatically set goals for you. So if you've ever used the Apple Health app or equivalent on Android, you'll probably notice that you didn't have to set that up. It just starts working automatically. It starts keeping track of how you move, how many stairs, how many steps, running activity, whatever it might be. And you'll see the rings get filled out. And then it starts nudging you if you aren't quite on pace for the day. We do the exact same thing for your relationships. We have 3 rings here, and we're keeping track of how you reach out. Just like Apple, what we do is we traverse all your data. We go back in time, we analyze it and figure out how often you reach out to your sphere. And we start to set these goals for you automatically. And so what you can see circled there are my goals for the week. And that's based on my personal activity. The exact same thing will happen for you. So it's based on how you reach out to your sphere. Every person gets their own set of goals, and those can be adjusted. And I'll show you how in a second. But the key thing here is it's designed to keep you on pace. It also understands the ebbs and flows of how you work and how your real estate business moves, right? Because there's going to be different busy seasons and there's going to be downtime. So it's not going to overcorrect and over nudge you if there's nothing that's really happening. It also understands if you're, calling, if you typically call on different days of the week. So we really built this to be smart, understand seasonality, understand how you work. The reason we do weekly goals instead of daily goals is that, you get busy, right? So there's going to be moments where you just can't take care of it that day, but it's still a weekly goal. So we're going to tell you if you're on pace or not. You'll always be able to tell if you're on pace. So you can jump ahead or you can catch up without feeling the stress on any given day. We're going to give you guidance. How much do you need to catch up? And because it's based on automatic tracking of calls and texts and emails, you don't have to enter any data by hand. A lot of these goal tracking systems require you to not only set it up, but then track all your calls, all your meetings, everything you do every day. That's just not realistic. So my recommendation is don't tweak anything. Just go in and start using it and you'll be in really good shape. I don't want you spending lots of manual work on this, but use it to guide you. So we really rethought how to work through this and how to understand it. So you'll see the weekly goal there. So you can see 34 for outreach. When you connect SkySlope, you're going to see your sides or GCI. You can adjust whatever you prefer. So you know exactly what it's been historically. That'll be there set for the goal. And then if you adjust anything, so say you increase your GCI goal or you increase your side goal, it's going to tell you automatically how much you need to increase your outreach. And that's because there's actually a correlation to this. So for every 10 sides you want to close, you need to reach out to 4 clients per day, 4 people in your sphere. Think of it that way. We analyzed thousands of agents, and there was a very clear pattern. And that's why you'll hear the vast majority of coaches will talk about making sure you're in live flow, talking to your sphere on a regular basis, because the math holds. So for every 10 sides, 4 per day or 28 per week. The middle one there, reactions, is really measuring people getting back to you. It's exactly what it's measuring. So are they calling you back, texting you back, emailing you back? You want a reasonably high reaction rate, because if you're reaching out and getting no reaction, that means those people really aren't part of your sphere. So if you're seeing that not happening, adjust who's in your sphere to make sure you're getting the right reaction rate, and that will yield the sides you want. In the middle, you're going to see exactly where you are. So you'll simple weekly goal. Reactions to me is very important because it gives you reinforcement. The outreach I'm doing, I'm actually getting people to engage with me. So that's important. And then the arrows there will show you where you are from a pacing perspective. They understand seasonal and weekly variations. So they'll know what day of the week you're typically reaching out. And it will also tell you what you need to get done to catch up if you're behind. So in this example, I got to do 5 more outreach and 1 more reaction, and then I got 1 more side to do. All right, let's take a look at this one. So you can see on my phone demo account, but you get the idea. So what Cloze is automatically set for me, 53 per week. I'm on pace. Today is Wednesday. I got a few more days to get through my week. To stay on pace, I need to do 2 more outreach. But I'm ahead of pace on my reactions. That's good. I'm looking pretty good. You can see these arrows here. And then sides, I got 1 more to do this month to stay on pace. But my goal is 19 for the year. If you want to see what I just walked through, get another explanation of what I just did, release on help, and it walks through what I just explained. So you can see all the same numbers there for you. So if you ever want a recap of it, easy to do. You can change your goals. So if I wanted to switch it to GCI, I can just drag this up. So if I hit close, now I see my GCI goal. So I'm ahead of pace on my GCI goal. You can also add custom goals if you want to. Just tap on add. You'll see all the different options we have. We have other goals getting tracked here, and you can see them all on the screen. But my recommendation is don't overdo it, because you're trying to, if you do this core set, you'll be in perfectly good shape. If you want to see trends, swipe to the right, and you can see which weeks you're hitting and which weeks you're missing. And then you can scroll down to any of the other ones that you're tracking. Okay. So some really good personal goals in there. It understands the difference between how you work and how other agents work. So it's not cookie cutter for everybody. It will be very unique and custom to you. Same thing with the desktop. If I go over to my computer, you're going to see the same things. And then you can see the rollover icons here. So if I wanted to click to see the trends, I can see the trends. If I want to make changes, click on the wrench there or the wrench up here, same thing. You can make adjustments. And then all I was doing is dragging on these little handlebar looking things. If I wanted to change that, I can change that. Okay. Okay. AI-based reminders. So Cloze is going to be analyzing your email content automatically for you. And one of the things it's going to look for are things that might slip through the cracks, things you might miss. So what Adam's talking about here is just that. It's pretty easy to miss an email from an important client. It just slips through your inbox, gets pushed way down, you miss it. It's also easy to miss things when people say, hey, I need something on a certain day or time, or you promised to do something. And so those little moments just help you, right? It's like easy to get stuff. Client doesn't have to remind you, hey, you said you were going to send me that stuff. So in this example, somebody needs something by Saturday morning. Well, Cloze is going to catch this and put it on my agenda on Saturday morning. Pretty helpful. It's also going to catch things like documents you need to sign. So you're going to see all kinds of docs. So if you got a document from SkySlope that's in your inbox that needs to be signed, Cloze is going to alert you. You're going to push notification right to your lock screen on your phone or your watch. You'll see it there. Really, really easy to do. It's also going to extract information out of email and update your database. Pretty helpful, right? So without you having to cut and paste all this information, it's just going to grab it out and update the contact. So imagine meeting somebody new, you start exchanging, Cloze creates the contact, it starts updating the timeline with your activity. And then anytime it finds new contact information, it updates that too. So really all you need to think about is, are they on your warm list or hot list? Are they buyer, seller, renter, that kind of thing. So we're really eliminating all the traditional stuff. No cutting and pasting, no doing the other work, just keeps you laser focused on your sphere. Occasionally you'll see some contact updates on the agenda, but don't worry about those. You're probably not going to see too many of them, but occasionally you'll see a few. Those are ones we just want you to verify the information. Okay, so let's go look at my phone again. So here's an example of an important message that Cloze flagged. So the message came in from Dave early this morning, and there it is. Please send me anything that fits the bill this evening. So he's saying, hey, I need something this evening. Cloze is going to catch that and then remind me this evening, 6 p.m. my time. You can see that there. It's kind of small. See that right there. And then I'll make sure I get back to Dave. Really simple. So you're going to see these occasionally. Not going to see them all the time. Okay, so another one that's really popular are open, as I mentioned earlier, the open and link click tracking. There's an example of what that looks like. If we go back over here, it's on by default. So you're going to see that bell icon. Unless you tap it off, it'll be on by default. And when you send an email through Cloze, if it has a link in it, we'll tell you if they click on the link or if they open it. So really handy. Quick recap on that. So there's what a notification looks like. If I swipe on Heidi here, tap on the upper here, the drop down in the upper right, you can see that tracking is on. Okay. As soon as I push send, tracking is there. And if Heidi opens it, I'm going to get a notification. Really simple. Okay. That's kind of a no-brainer feature. But if you start using Cloze, you start to see those opens. It's very handy. Now, if you tap on this notification, you go to the very bottom, you're going to see open tracking. Only you can see this. But if you get a lot of them here, then you're going to know they opened it, or maybe they forwarded the email. So you start to get a feel. So generally the way to use this, if you haven't used it, is I wouldn't tell the recipient, hey, I just saw your open notification. That can freak people out. But it's helpful to know. Sometimes you see a flurry of opens, and that means you're going to reply or they're going to call you. Again, this is one of those features. You start to get into it, people really love using it. Okay. So as we head to wrapping up here, a few more things to cover. Recurring anniversaries. As they occur, you're going to see those on the agenda too. If you connect SkySlope, we're going to bring in your purchase and sale anniversaries. Makes it easy to reach out. You're going to see inside of Cloze, that section, that details section I reviewed earlier, and that's where you can set these. You can make sure you have all that information set, and then Cloze will remind you. The key thing to know is you don't need to know the exact year necessarily. You just need to set the date. So birthday is a good example of that. If I don't know the birth year, I just know the date, that's fine. I'll get the reminder. The only thing to watch out for are leap years. Another common question we get here is, can you get birthdays from Facebook or Instagram or something like that? I'd love to say yes, but it's been about a decade since Facebook allowed that. So it's been a long time. So they no longer allow you to access that. But if you do see a birthday go by on Facebook, you could put it in Cloze as a starting point. And then I really recommend one-on-one outreach for people that are important to you. Send them a text, call them up, do a handwritten note, just put a card in the mail, that kind of stuff. You can look ahead at birthdays. That can be very helpful. So if you're back in Cloze, you can not only see it on the agenda, you can see the birthday there, but if I'm on the people section, we've got a specific sort that you can use that shows you upcoming birthdays. So now I know all the birthdays that are coming up. So Sarah say there is today, and then here are all the people coming up after that. You can even add a column that has the birthday on it, if that's helpful to you. Just go to the bottom, you'll see all the different options that are there. So lots of things you can do, but that's another way to do it. People like to do handwritten notes and that kind of thing. Okay. Recurring anniversaries are just that. They happen every single year. And so we've got some core ones in there: wedding anniversary, purchase anniversary, sale anniversary, birthday, but you can add others too in settings. I'm not going to dive into how to customize it, but if you want to add another type of recurring anniversary date, it's easy to add, and our support team can help you. We also have lots of documentation on how to add it. Another thing to note is you can also have these go out automatically. A lot of people like to just get the reminder and then do the personal outreach, but if you wanted the birthday email to go out automatically, it's a single click to enable that if you wish to do so. So here's what they look like. Just like we were doing before, the only thing different is different templates. So I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday. Again, you could click on that ghostwriter and change the subject, that kind of thing. Easy to do. Purchase anniversary, different template, same thing. Okay. But again, they're only going to show up if you have recurring anniversaries. Connecting SkySlope will get a lot more in there. Okay, last couple of things here in the last 5 minutes. When it comes to leads, we get a lot of leads in real estate. Lots of places they can come from. It can be our website. It can come from Zillow. It could come from any number of different places, Realtor, etc. Lots of places they can come from, but they all land in our inbox in the form of an alert. So it goes into our inbox, and that's kind of where it goes to die. Most of the time, it's pretty hard to get that into our CRM because we got to cut and paste all that information. With Cloze, we extract that information right out of your inbox, alert you immediately, notify you, and then with a single tap, you can create the contact and get on the phone with them. You can also go a lot further. I'm going to show you the simple example. You can also go a lot further and have it automatically trigger a campaign. If you're on a team, you do things like this. You can do jump ball and push notification. First person to get it gets it. Just tap to accept. So a lot of good ways to set this up. I'd rather have you get your sphere organized and then get into lead programs. I just want to make sure you're all aware of it. If you've got a lot of leads, definitely reach out to us and we can help you start getting some of this set up. So simple example here, right at the top, you can see I got a new lead. Same thing, swipe to see it. And then fictional lead source, but I've got Ellen's name or email address or phone number. Tap on that accept button and it's going to mark it as a warm buyer. Set the lead source, which is website. Bring all that information. I can be on the phone with her very quickly. I call this a simple example because you could auto accept it. Just accept it, trigger a campaign, send an email back to her, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very fast. So you can do quite a bit. You can do a nurture campaign to get it going, but that makes life a lot easier when you don't have to cut and paste a million things and you don't miss the lead because you're going to get that notification right to your inbox or right to your lock screen. All right, so we wrap up here. Last quote. I like Leslie's here because, well, he's a managing broker and he's really working with agents, but he uses Cloze to keep track of his day and stay close to all the people that are important to him. And one of the things that he points out here is that we have these little moments during the day. So he'll start off and do his morning routine with Cloze, but then he may not get it all done. But he may have 10 minutes before a meeting, 5 minutes before a meeting. He can open up Cloze wherever he is and send off the birthday wishes, send off whatever it might be. In his case, it might be more like an anniversary of how long they've been with a brokerage or something like that. But he's staying connected. And that's really the point here. And using that time between meetings. So because it's automatically organized, you don't have to think about it. You can be like, okay, what's on my Cloze agenda? Let me work through it, right? So when it comes to your routine, start here, 15, 20 minutes a day, maybe longer if you connect with somebody, but it's all about that one-to-one relationship building. So send out those keep in touch reminders, birthdays, anniversaries, do those kind of things. If you stop there, you'll still have a meaningful impact on your business. If you want to go further and use some of the other things you'll see on there, confirm meetings and everything else, you can do that. But if you just focus on the top part, it will make a big difference. But check it every day, get in that routine, use it throughout the day, make sure you're getting in that routine, setting yourself up for the next day. You will see on the agenda at the very bottom all the activity as your day unfolds. So you'll see the meetings you have coming up. So if you think about end of day wrap-up routine, you can swipe to confirm. Easy to do. It includes a template. So if you haven't talked to somebody in a while, that can be very helpful. But then at the bottom, you're going to see all your finished calls, finished meetings. They're all there too. So that's helpful to add notes, add a note. You can also send an email. There's a follow-up template built in. So a lot of best practices are just there for you. All right, so my little bit of homework here for you is get going with that agenda. Organize your sphere. So make sure you do that. You can organize as you go, but again, you kind of want to get to about 200 or so. You don't need to organize every contact. You'll hear me say that in every single presentation I do. Make sure you get your own signature set up, your own contact information, all that kind of stuff. Our support team can help you with that. Sounds like there was one question about how to get help. So that's an easy one. So if you tap on more and then you see help and support, if you click on that, it'll bring you over to our help center. Then you can ask all kinds of questions, chat with our team, that kind of stuff right from there. Or you can just type in help.cloze.com. All right. So I think we're good. We're at the top of the hour. We have training every single Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Sessions rotate. So we've got 3 different sessions we're running right now. We're going to start to get into Canva training coming up soon. So your marketing team is working very closely with us to get all kinds of templates set up for you. So you'll be able to generate your Canva content right from Cloze, which will make life very easy. You can take all the content in just a couple of clicks. Reminder, send us that file. So if you're moving from a different CRM, export it out and then send it to us and we'll make sure to get it in to your Cloze account. Here's a recap of all of our help resources. So help.cloze.com. You can search for answers there. You can chat with our team. You can email our team at support@cloze.com. If you want to enroll in classes and go at your own pace, you can do that too. Learn.cloze.com is where our Cloze University exists. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great